Welcome back. We're here to do the twin flame update. I'm just seeing if I can get, it was for a while now. I was like, most of the readings I would literally do, and I was off camera. And now that I want to go on camera, the camera is not connecting. We will see if I can alter that. It might just be a main one with me today. Let's see. Webcam. Don't know why it's not coming. Let's see. I might see where the camera is and see if I can add it. I usually have the connections to everything and I go through, and half the time I don't add the camera because I'm not on screen. There's no necessity. But I decided I would have a little chat with you guys. Let's see if it comes up. Now it's not coming up at all. Give me 5. I will get this bloody thing working, I tell you. Because we have been in the thick of it, trying to get things ready in our lives, going through upgrades and new beginnings. And this Virgo moon was a pretty intense one, which mentally I can say I did feel physically prepared. I'll just be perfectly honest with you. A, probably because I know the astrology, and B, because, the Virgo moon can be one of those things where we directly are feeling very critical of ourselves, looking at our health, looking at dynamics that need changing, and very up in our heads, but we can be getting projection from other individuals as well. I wonder if I can just use the camera on the computer. Potentially. Let's see. No, don't want to use that one. Maybe if I plug it in the computer. Are you being patient with me, or am I just irritating you right now and you're like, just get on with it, Yildiz? We don't need the camera. Don't know what's doing it. Anywho. Oh, good God. You serious? Okay, 1 minute. I'm going to flick it over. I've got it, by Jove. Who would have thought? I don't look that fab, but you guys aren't going to care. Okay, I'll get the banner off and we will have a bit of a chat before we get into the twin flame path. I'm here. Gospel. I have an extension. This technology I will be upgrading. Okay. We'll be upgrading. It's driving me nuts. Okay, so let's read some of the comments. It has been a while. I was looking at the time zones all over the world and I was like, is anyone going to be awake? And I remember back to my ascension process, and I used to come live at 1 o'clock in the morning. I mean, I had no life, honestly. What else was I going to do? And I would always share my energy. And I was like, I just wish my life was like, it's not like I do have a life right now, but it's time frames. I wake up at 3:30 in the morning. I've had, I think from when we had Pluto move, and I said this last year, I was like, literally, Pluto is going to do a number on us, because anywhere it was directly linked in our charts, it was going to impact us. And it was going to be like, pink. This used to be a fun house, but now it's full of evil clouds. And it was like that area at the 29-degree point was really going to be highlighted. And I mean, I literally could go through zodiac by zodiac and tell you where it was for you. But for me, it was in my bloody 4th house. And it was a family of home. And I had a circumstance happen. And I said to twin, because usually in a twin flame chart, you can have similar placements. And I said to him, look, there's either going to be something popping off on my side of the fence connected to mother, family, fertility, children, my child, your children, or it could be direct DNA parent. Now, It did happen. And again, Pluto did ingress into the house of Aquarius because it was at the critical degree from last year, moving into this year. We all physically, in our twin flame path and our individual lives, we were revisiting these circumstances, but also doing things differently, having some intense moments we needed to address. And as we're moving forward, we're all trying to find that spiritual balance. So it was a very busy weekend for me. The situation with my daughter transitioned. So again, it's that new chapter, and it's, a little bit like a giraffe being born for all of us collectively. We've sort of got the monkey legs. And then we had the Virgo moon, and I did warn people on Facebook, and I've got a lot done with the Virgo moon, which I thought was really fantastic. It's like, right, it's time to deal. It's time to get things done. And there was a lot of backtracking, getting paperwork done, getting video content done, cleaning. Oh, my Lord. The one good thing about Virgo energy, I flatmated with my sister years ago, and me having Libra in my chart, which we are the Venusian energy. We like to care for the physical environment. Cancer rising also, the Cancer energy in my chart also is very similar to that. And she's a Virgo, and we were fantastic at keeping that house clean. But she literally would take it to the next level, and I still tease her to this day. We had this beautiful pergola, and it had sort of the fake tiling outside, and sand would get caught in it. And there I was, sort of like sweeping this corrugated, kind of shape. And she says to me, "What the hell are you doing?" And she goes, "Get the vacuum cleaner." I'm like, "Girl, you are taking it to the next level." But literally, something that was taking me an hour took me 2 minutes, and she showed me the tips. So if you had the funky Virgo energy coming up with your cleanliness, with your self-critique, to do with your diet and your image, to do with your high heart chakra, because it links to Chiron in your ascension path and your twin flame path, it is very common. You also want brutal honesty, okay? You want to hear the brutal honesty. We may not like the projection back at us. So it's almost like eating humble pie. It's a catch-22. So from a spiritual connection inside your twin flame path, it can cause paranoia. It can cause you to psychoanalyze and dissect the dynamic of the connection. And irritability can be there as well, almost like you're needing a little bit of space, or you're feeling quite criticized or judged, or we directly could be doing that circumstance to do with the situation. Now, on the positive octane of it, it can be where we're making some radical choices. This can be kicking habits. The shadow sign is to do with the energy of Pisces. So at the moment, we have Pisces in the house of Saturn. This can be our bones and teeth, and it can be aches and pains, and it also can be the pacifiers we use to cope with our stress levels. Could it be overeating? Could it be depression sinking in, and a lack of motivation? So the opposite polarity can be coming in, so it's asking us to face our shadow. If we don't do such, regardless, the next moon phase is going to be in the house of Pisces. So we sort of will be, for the next week to 2 weeks, working in that area until we reach that moon in Pisces, and then those situations are going to come up. And these are really key areas that we need to focus on spiritually, because the North Node in its next stage, next year, is going to be moving into the house of Pisces. And, this was where I saw a lot of the collective that were very spiritual, that were in the twin flame path. We had a lot of twins in union, or reunion rather, and then they moved into a breakup, and that was when Chiron was in Pisces. So key placements in Pisces are really critical to look at this point in time, because they are going to be coming about. Spiritually, what I have observed in the collective in my waking life is changed behavior. And I am telling you, I saw some very interesting behavior from male individuals. And that was last week, moving up to the Virgo moon. I also have seen it during the Virgo moon. Okay, so I'll give you some pointers of what I physically saw. Some of you might have had people make advances towards you. Some of you may have had very odd behaviors coming from masculine individuals. Now, does a masculine have to be a male? No, it doesn't. It's whoever is holding and embodying masculine energy. Now, we have both yin and yang. We have masculine and feminine. So, yes, on a shadow effect, it could be coming up in our masculine energy in the way we are handling things or doing things in our life. However, masculine energies, what I was noticing, and this was a lot of people actually contacting me that were friends and tribe, and they were saying a lot of what I was experiencing. And it was very obscure behavior coming from masculine energies. I also did put a prediction up to try and avoid public spaces and group areas. And we did see the incident occur all over the news to do with, I think it was a shooting. So yes, and I directly was saying to Twin over the weekend, I did say we shouldn't go out in public spaces at this point in time because of Pluto's placement and how it's aspecting. But you can't avoid living. You have to be present. You have to be in the moment. So spiritually, between now and next month, it is with the next moon, it is a very good time to start getting on top of those things in the home. As to backtracking and discussing the vibrations of what was coming through with masculine energies, odd advances, odd statement pieces, odd ways in which they were handling their stress levels and using pacifiers. Between these two moon phases and the eclipse, it can spell breakdowns in relationships. This can be karmic relationships. It can be changes maybe even in the field of health, because we do have Libra as the scales. It can be new rules and laws that come through, but definitely it will be a change. This can be a change with banks. It can be a change with wellness. It can be breakthroughs. It also can be new situations popping off that maybe some of us are going to be quite surprised by. Now, I have got the cards in front of me. I might have a quick chat to some of you, and feel free to tell me some of the things that you've been going through. Not me. I used to be a stickler with the house, but I'm slacking on the household bit. Now, just want to have some time or energy for anything other than the basics. Yeah, I think, the one thing I was noticing from the aspects in astrology and how I intuitively was receiving them was a lot of what we are doing, a lot of what our plans are in the future, how we're going to tackle them is with the utmost of realism. So we could directly be looking at a goal, looking at a circumstance. Pisces is Venus as well. So, this can be an old romantic connection, especially in a twin flame path. It's, there are some long circumstances sometimes we go through if we don't have the right tools to ascend to reach union. The shadow energy as well from a psychological point of view, because it's the 12th house. We also can be very apprehensive of making decisions in our life, and we can get psychologically overwhelmed, and we can end up sticking our heads in the mud because we just don't know which one to address first. And my tip for the Virgo moon was really, instead of going down the rabbit hole and giving one area of your life way too much attention, to really write a list of what you're focusing on and give it a time frame that you're allowed to actually invest in each circumstance. Otherwise, you could say, hey, I'm taking the trash out, before you know it, scrubbing the rubbish bin, and you're there an hour later. So it's about really being realistic with what you're putting energy into and what the goal is. Neptune also is there. So there is a risk that, because Neptune and Saturn are both in the same zodiac sign, is that when we do get overwhelmed or feel burdened, we can use pacifiers to deal with such. That can be eating, drinking, smoking. Not that I'm promoting any of those things, but it is a side effect of such. The other thing is, if you're wanting to reach a goal, Saturn is like a long-term view. So for instance, if you have been wanting to launch a business, but it seems overwhelming, or you are looking at the mountain and going, how do I address that? Look at the long-term goal. Look at it as a long-term goal over putting pressure on yourself and trying to complete it in 6 months, a week, a month, whatever that be. So there are some key areas in our life, wherever Pisces is in your chart, or whatever you are moving towards. And the key to it is looking at maybe the next 2-3 years. It's like, right, I'm going to invest in this. I'm going to break it down to a bite-sized level, and I'm going to push that frequency forward. Now, as it comes to the masculine energy with these transits, the one thing I can say is they especially psychically, are literally with the updates that I gave to the members that will be coming out to the public soon. If you want to see them ahead of the crowd, I am scheduling them, and as I schedule them, it will say, hey, these are out in the members. If you want to receive them, read the title. If you're interested, you can come through. You can listen to them, and I do coaching within the YouTube membership as well, among other things. There will be more things coming. From the masculine perspective with Pisces and the channeled messages, it was very deep, and the videos are getting longer. So there does appear to be a lot more that is coming through with these individuals from a psychological point of view. And it almost feels like a volcano ready to erupt, but there's a lot of clarity coming through. The 12th house is almost looking at patterns, looking at their own personal belief systems, personal forgiveness. And then it moves to the first house. And we already are moving into eclipse season very soon. And these are the locations where we're going to see both the rise of the divine feminine and the rise of the divine masculine. Now, the first key to that individual actually coming to a space where they are going to be open to union is when they choose themselves. It's like, sod the world. Where do I fit into this? Am I trying to appease individuals? And I really do believe Pluto was helping that situation, because what it does is, like a diamond, it places pressure on us so that we can say, look, this is unmanageable. I really have to let this situation go. It's not an alignment for me. And this is where I spiritually have to get to a space that I'm physically choosing myself. Because it subconsciously is coming through from a psychic perspective very heavily for these individuals, that they're really thinking about divine feminine quite a bit. What they are picking up on psychically is that divine feminine is quite detached from it, quite frustrated, really. And they're going to get that hit in the 5D or the 3D. They're vibrationally feeling your energy. And so there is this anxiety that's really spiritually running through them. Divine feminine, for many, is really coming to a space where they're choosing themselves. And, usually when you're coming into alignment and prepping for union, you're quite detached. You're not angry. You're not frustrated. Some of you at a 50-50 level may be there, but some of you could just be at this notion of, look, I'm very disillusioned. I really need to leave this vibration. I need to detach from this. And this is a very common place to find yourself in. Hi, Ange, how are you, Del? A common place to find yourself in prior to union. And you can ask Angela as well, because we both have coached Angela and she knows how these things go. So separation here we have coming up with divine feminine, but it's in reverse. It's funny, which I haven't even started the cards, but these are the channel energies and sort of how I'm physically seeing them play out. On the other hand, divine masculine is feeling this pressure to perform, to get things right, the frustration of the past, some old situations coming up from an emotional point of view. I'm glad to hear. And wanting to really separate away from those circumstances. I don't feel guilt is involved. I feel disillusionment, frustration, and sadness, okay? Now, we're going to get into the read. I tell you, honestly, I'm drinking green tea. Higher heart chakra Chiron, the Virgo energy with the moon. We already have the day after the full moon. We do still have the moon in Virgo. And there is this frequency where it can be higher heart chakra. It also, for some reason, moon energy, I'm also picking up, it's very intuitive at this point in time. Between now and the new moon in Pisces, psychic attacks are possible. Inside the masculine, feminine, and karmic reads, I have started giving you guys some pointers on how to balance that energy. As I said, the members have those videos out already, and there are some points and tips. They will be released to the public soon, really guiding you through March and beyond, of how to navigate that circumstance. So, clearing your homes, preparing the environment, getting your homework done, whatever you need to get done that's overdue. Try and utilize that frequency right now. because what you're clearing out is making room for a brand new beginning, but it's also helping you clear your heart chakra. It's helping you have the courage to be open. Now, an open heart chakra is going to move into love and forgiveness. It's not going to feel it needs to protect itself, because it's going to do such regardless. It's going to feel protected. So there can be a spiritual challenge that we're having to trust. We may very much want that love, but at the same time, we could get to a space that we're not trusting that love, because there's a wound there that previously existed. So should you choose to go with somebody else, has that healed enough that you could open up for that individual? Could you trust after all that is said and done? And I think it's very intuitive. It's about bite-sized pieces. It's about moving at the pace you feel comfortable with. But universe will always give you what you can handle, even though at the time when we're going through ascension, we're like, heck, I don't believe you because this doesn't feel so good. But that's generally when you'll have a soul walk, and it's because your ascension process is too aggressive, and it'll slow down and stop. And it's almost like you can feel quite foreign in your body. It's because your upload and your upgrade was too aggressive, but it was necessary to catch you up to a space you need to be. So I can try and say, and I know Lois used to say, gee, Yildiz always says trust the process, but I will never give you any tips I haven't been through myself. Now, I do have the slides, and that is going to give you an update as to the cards. But I did want to spiritually connect with you guys, because I did abruptly take the super chats into the members hub. That was because of time. It is because of a lot of projects that I'm hoping to launch. I have also realized that I'm going to be doing new content for this year at bite-sized pieces, and webinars and things to that degree that are going to be hosted through YouTube and the website. But separately, I'm going to be creating content for the next 3 years. So really, to get this channel where I want it to be, that is the direction I'm going. But because there's only one of me, and I also do have a full-time job, it needs to be something that is spiritually manageable. So it is by no means that I'm tapping out and I'm leaving you guys. I'm just getting it to a space where it's very manageable, and also hopefully going to assist in the algorithm. Now we're going to quickly jump over to the slides. We have the joint connection. Now, I will jump back and forward so you all see me. Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. I'm still here. We do have, and whenever I've been getting hits with these cards where they're uploading blurry, I'm actually getting it as a significant message. So trust the process, please. Now, this card, God of Awakening, it's quite funny. This is within the joint connection. It's a number 8. Astrologically, it's very Pluto in nature. I do think there's a wake-up call coming, and I do feel spiritually it is within the joint connection. I feel both parties here are going through their own very individual process. I do think spiritually you could be having dreams for some of you. You could be having psychic attacks as we do move between now and next month. But there's a shake-up, wake-up call, and it feels like it's fast. I also feel the protective energy. This does feel that whatever this is, it's going to be very quick. And I also do feel from a spiritual point of view that these individuals are feeling the urgency. So we collectively can feel that there is something coming, that there's something transforming. I did chime in with the members this week, and I said, look, I don't know if you guys are getting this land, but I found myself over the last week really looking up to the sky. And, in looking at that, I said to them, look, I almost feel like there's something coming. There's something incoming. Is it a comet? Is it Superman? Is it just linking up to the sky? And I put a couple of the predictions within the members. But, this from an 8 point of view, we can see the arrow going, and it feels whatever it is that's incoming is very quick. I do feel spiritually some of you could be asking your guides, when is this person going to wake up? When are these things going to move? How is this transcending? But whatever it is, it's fast paced. You actually, for those of you that are in communication with this individual or reunion or union with this individual, can see an aggressive stance coming through. Some of you also from a spiritual point of view could see this person going backwards, but the backwards motion is very temporary. Trust me on this one. Their ascension process is really speeding up, and it is going to be something quite quick. I do feel your hopes is that is so. You definitely do feel some very deep feelings that are coming up with this. You also could be channeling some of the messages quite intuitively in relationship to this individual. I do feel when we're looking to the past position now, I think there's some frustration. You know, each time you felt something's moving, it's kind of dissipated, it's gone on the back burner. And I also did say for some of you where things were flowing, those of you that moved into communication with this individual and you felt that union was there, if it did go backwards, don't think bad of this, okay? It's almost like rejection as the universe's protection. I don't directly feel they've rejected you. I have noticed there are two ways that this plays out in a twin flame path. One is that if you are able to keep in detachment and not enable while that person is going through ascension and cycling out a karmic cycle, you will remain in communication and reunion while that happens. Is it easy? No. And I do have a lot of you that I have coached that have been with this channel. I mean, I think I've been on YouTube now 7 years. I've been on the twin flame path over 25. Those of you where it does end up being that you reunited and separated and it went quiet, again, universe knows the best way to bring the both of you into union. And if that means by you being removed from the situation, they have to face their shadow, it can bring about old triggers. This upgrade that's going on that you feel has kind of gone backwards, it's divinely guided. There is a reason they have chosen your each individual path to play it the way it does. Neither or is easy, but observing that individual while they're going through ascension and having old karmic cycles kind of be wound out. If you can look at your own path and you can realize you did that, and not enable, it's almost like, I can't say not judge because you're physically in the relationship, but it's observing it, trying to grind your teeth, you know, and going, what are you going to do about that? If you're able to do that, you're going to have more success, and you'll literally find it's like a scale, it'll tip off kilter. And as soon as you shift the focus back onto you and you just let them deal with their conundrum, it literally resolves itself in moments, in 24 hours sometimes. So however it's played out for you at this point in time, what they're saying is, and what my experience is it is divinely guided. It's here to protect you, right? And it's here to get you your success. Okay, this individual also does know that they had been an obstruction in their path. And there were a lot of changes. There were some unfinished business because I'm seeing the 5 coming up in the joint connection. This could be to do with family and home. It also could be to do with the living environment. I'm noticing the elephant. I definitely have seen a lot of subjects to do with divine masculine's childhood coming up in the collective, as well as with my psychic downloads. And I'm noticing the elephant here. And it was while I was on a particular process of my twin flame path. Ironically, I decided to research because we do know elephants are very connected into family. They're very tribe orientated. So I do look to totems, especially if I am getting hits and lands of totems coming through for the twin flame path. And with this totem, you know, when I researched it, I was looking at the karmic energy, I was looking at tribe and family, and it's very common in twin flame path that we do have an issue with family. Okay, it just is. It sucks, but it is. And it happens, and then we become almost immune to it, and we observe them like they were our shadow, and we're quite detached. But initially, it can feel like hell on earth. So I researched, do elephants reject their young? And sure enough, yes, they do. They can actually reject it. So, you know, with this card, especially with the yellow, linking to inner child, creativity, children, family, masculine energy, it's in reverse. I just feel that there were sacrifices made almost to appease these individuals, almost to win the situation back. So there could be a karmic parent or energy around them. This could be child or tribal energy that is being cycled out. And it might have taken them backwards, but it wasn't permanent. It's not permanent. Whatever this is, it's closing a cycle. And I do think that will be permanent, but they're having these massive revelations. There's a direct reason why it needed to come up to be cleared. And that is so they can go on this new chapter in this journey. Okay. It's really funny, a lot to do with masculine. It's coming up in the joint connection. I think it's also feminine having revelations to do with tribal issues that they were having, to do with family-related dynamics, the burdens that were put. You know, at a point, you might have felt sorry for them. I'm just going to say, we've got heart chakra empathy syndrome going on, you know, in twin flame paths. We just do. We do. It's not because we've walked them all in these individual shoes. We also at times can feel they have way too much power over these situations and can directly impact it. You will actually get over that, trust me. Now, this individual here in the mix of the twin flame path, I do feel they have learned how to show their love for some at an intimate level. Touch, feel, connection, maybe a lack of communication has come through for them, and they're having a revelation about this. They do there is a difference between doing the deed and actually being intimate, you know, having that spiritual connection. And Pluto is all to do with that. It's all to do with how do I interconnect? How do I be my raw organic self, especially with the Virgo moon? How can I be my quirky self, and who can I be my quirky self with? And look, this energy almost feels, and it oozes Casanova. It just oozes Casanova. I even say this to my twin, but I wouldn't melt shit. You know, yes, it's fabtabulous. Okay, this is fantastic. You do miss the happy person. You do miss the person that can be open with you. You miss the person that you can grow with and be, you know, you do want it all divine feminine. You're wanting the trustworthy, tried and true and sturdy, but you're also wanting the chemistry. You're wanting both. You also don't want to have to worry about another Joe blog coming along to mess this shit up. Let's just be perfectly honest. This person is really transforming quite rapidly. I do feel for some of you, you can have some peace that's going to be restored. This person is wanting to make peace with you. This person also is making peace with the past. This person does put a lot of a brave face on. I don't know why I'm getting this hit that divine feminine is going to have a lot of people coming around them at the moment. You are deeper in reflection of these things. This person does want to offer love. They also want to put their swords down. It's like they don't want to fight anymore. They don't want to fight who they are. They don't want to fight with individuals. They're also making reference to the point that, you know, they trusted individuals they shouldn't. They were intimate with individuals they shouldn't have been. And there's such regret of that. I want to get a clarifier on God of Battle. Whoa, that just jumped in my lap. Okay, yeah, something is coming to an end here. There is a death of a situation. They're having a revelation of what they need to let go of. They also make reference, you know, whenever you say the 11s, it's almost like you're moving into a new chapter. But there's this lack, there's this feeling that something isn't quite right. I get this vibe, especially from this card. I do read quite psychically and intuitively. I just get this feeling it's like they're wanting to bring you a bounty. They do feel quite separate. So it can be that they're single, or it can be that how they're feeling away from you is that they're not themselves. They feel there is a lack. They feel that there is something quite missing. It's just not. And there's deep regret of not owning their power and not actually having, what would I say? Not actually having the courage to follow this through, to actually be the person that they wanted to be for you. Now, we're going to look at divine feminine's energy. And yes, separately, we do cover the divine feminine at an individual level. So don't forget to look at those. You're really looking at the separation. You're like, okay, when's the union going to come? How are you seeing this? You're really looking at how it's directly impacted you and directly how long it has been. Some of you also are having revelations that potentially there could have been a need for boundaries and there were less boundaries previously. This actually took away from you. It's some of you are returning to yourself. You're returning to, okay, what do I want to do with my life? Where do I put myself first? Where do I give that love to myself? Some of you also are wanting to change your look and image. You're wanting, you're looking in the mirror. I don't know why I'm getting this. It's like looking in the mirror and saying, okay, something's changed. Something I want to change. Something I'm not happy with. Ooh, God, I'm getting this really weird vibe. Okay, I had this happen years ago. Clean your mirrors, okay? I'm getting this hit where sometimes we can actually scry. Now, energy from a karmic individual can travel. Sometimes if you're in huge detachment and acceptance, you actually can get psychic attacks, but it usually can be near a mirror. Okay, and I actually had this circumstance happen. I literally felt like I was pushed away from the mirror, and I heard the energy of the individual, and it's happened a few times. So I always make sure I try as much as possible not to have mirrors in my bedroom because I'm very psychic, and all my mirrors in my home are only used at a necessity level, but they're always clean and I smudge. So it's almost like somebody is wanting to be like you. Somebody is observing. It's like a face-off spiritually. Your soul and your ancestors are almost coming through to them and saying, "Well, good luck, love. I have been here since the dawn of time. I've had a past life connection with this individual." It's almost like there's, how would I put it? Yeah, they can go ahead and they can test the circumstance, but they will actually get hurt because there's a soul contract between both you and this individual. And this person, inevitably, if they are doing it as a challenge, it can directly impact them. But I do feel they're scrying. I do feel they could actually be tuning into you from a negative standpoint and it can affect you. So just protect yourself. You can use Tourmaline or Onyx. You can smudge yourself if you feel you're getting headaches or anything to that degree. Obviously, at a very separate level, go and get checked. But separately, if it is a psychic attack, really do a cleansing of the home and that can protect you. This person's quite jealous of you. This person is quite envious of things that you are achieving and who you directly are. You're really frustrated at the lack of openness. You also could be thinking that you haven't been completely upfront and honest to the totality. And how could that look? It could be something as simple as saying, "Hey, you frustrate me." Whatever that be, you also are really wanting this person to be more open, and you're frustrated at being open. We open up more and more with trust, and for some reason, what they were showing me this week is that those of you, especially, be it you're in communication or you're not, you're actually teaching this person how to have a healthy relationship. They actually have not had a healthy relationships, and it's quite a burden at times. But by you being your true self and you showing the yeses and nos, you're actually teaching this individual that you can have a deeper, meaningful relationship. It doesn't have to be that we're rejecting you. And to come correct. And what do we mean by that? We mean, okay, come with your full intention to be here. Come with your full intention to invest in the circumstance. Yes, we all have baggage, but please don't bring it to the door where it's going to deeply impact the very foundation of that of what you appreciate. Yeah, a lot of you at the moment just feeling so tired, so run down. Some of you also can be having sleep issues. I also feel, some of you are just really having this feeling like, look, how much longer do we have to go? How long till this moves? Well, let's look at the masculine. Like I mentioned, we do separately do their individual energy. Now, again, I do feel something from the past had cropped up. I do feel they're getting more grounded, and I feel if there was, especially for those of you that were in communication, you moved in separation, it's coming to a standpoint where it's ending. That can be that you come back into communication and there can be some clarity. I also feel maybe if they were triggered and there was this standoff energy and it went into a vibration of silence or lack of momentum, especially since last year, I do see this situation turning about, and I do see this to be this shifting between now and next month. Now, we're looking to the past. I do feel some of them are actually seeing individuals for who they really are. And, it's almost like karmics are having power taken from them, but they're having revelations of how manipulative these energies were in their lives. For some of them, they also feel as though they did have to face their shadow, the shadow of their choices, the shadow of the individuals they connected to, but also, how they perceived you. They're getting serious flashbacks here. This can be flashbacks of you. It's almost like you're popping up in their head. For those of you that are in communication, if there was something that went down, they actually, if you've said something to them, it's almost like they're realizing you're becoming more confident, more assertive. They're realizing that you're actually speaking out. They're also picking up on this psychically. They also feel as though they may have hurt you. They're concerned about, are you up at night? Are you upset? Are you cross? They're noticing a behavioral change. They know that the way they handled things maybe wasn't as mature as they would have liked it to be. Again, they are making reference to family. And although, that could be a subject matter, they're also making reference to the fact they don't want to make you sad. Yeah, they're almost feeling it's an excuse. Like it's like enough is enough. These individuals want to be the one that stand next to you. They want to be the one that is protective. They want to bring you justice. They feel it is their job to do such, and they feel they've done the polar opposite. It's almost like an apology is potential to come in. Ooh, wow, that's a big turn of events. What's going on here? Oh, wow. They're making a reference to the past and what they chose was incorrect, and they want to have, it's almost like they want to have a do-over. So in the do-over, they're frustrated at the fact that potentially they haven't been wise with their choices. They are intellectualizing the situation, but they're also wanting to be wiser than they were before. They're hoping that you will be open to this. But there is something that they're wanting to offer you, and this is to do with the connection. This is like wanting to go the distance, realizing that they value this, but actually being intellectual with this situation and making a real choice. For some, I do feel they're actually looking at the writing on the wall. This can be, for those in a karmic relationship, actually severing and looking at the fact that there could be a joint asset of some description. This could be a moving out of home and addressing it. Yeah, they're really struggling to make an old situation work. I do see some actually leaving a job or a direct location. This location can be a location of employment. There is an old cycle they're tying up here. Okay, what needs to be talked about, please? Needs to be talked about. I feel this is the calm before the storm. This is the showdown. They're really getting a hit that the cycle needs to go, that it's time to go. They're seeing and feeling as though feminine is getting fed up. It's like, sort of like, look, I've heard it all before. Tell me something new. Look at this, literally. I've heard it all before. Tell me something new. Feminine's just like, look, really? Look, really. Masculine, look, really. Heard it all before. Okay. Yeah, almost like time is the enemy. Oh, who's this? Somebody's creeping in. I feel like somebody's been utilizing their energy to better themselves. There's an enemy here. I am hearing they will have the last laugh. Closure. Oh, wow. Yeah, something's driving them a bit bonkers. But it's actually what's going to liberate them. And this was really the hit I got in the joint connection, as well as the individual, especially over the next 2 weeks. One thing I was seeing from a psychic perspective, and the karmics actually do go through a tower, so it's really linking to the future energy. I'm definitely seeing these individuals are going through patterns. They're going through the energy of maybe utilizing things to cope with the stress levels, but it's like I said it before, it's like a volcano ready to pop. These individuals like, I can't keep doing this anymore. I'm definitely looking at my future and where I want to go. Hi, sweet. Yeah, this is almost a look at the urn. Whenever I see this urn, I see it as a physical funeral. But it feels more Pluto in nature. So not a physical aspect, saying for some it could be. But this feels more a metaphor. It's like, okay, having to lay it to rest, having to tie up those loose ends, having the courage to be disliked and just to actually spiritually leave the circumstance behind. Okay, what is the outcome for Divine Feminine here, and what is the advice? Yeah, Divine Feminine doesn't want to be the strong one anymore. Oh, you got the Star card. Just as you're ready to give up. Detachment is the key to union. It's knowing what you want. It's self-investment. It's dancing in the wind and allowing things to come towards you. Okay, karmic's going to the back burner here. Now, does the karmic have to be a physical person? No, it can be a cycle that's held this individual up. It also can be a circumstance in your life you're moving away from, a way in which you are relating. With the heart, you're really yearning for the separation to be over. It's actually spiritually come up twice. It's almost like love in reverse. Hi, Dal. But the tower moment is what is going to cause your energy to actually receive the star. So I do feel your vibration shifting. Now, could the tower be an emotional thing? It can be, in the context of what I'm saying here. So it could be, you're moving into detachment. You're like, I don't have the strength. I don't know what to do. Bang, you detach. And spiritually, something on this side shifts. Okay, what is the outcome? Is the star. And generally speaking, the star is the outcome, generally speaking. It's always darkest before the dawn. So I see you physically, accepting, moving into a transformation, going through your ascension process, really knowing what you want and raising the bar here. And this is what directly is bringing in your outcome, which is going to be very positive. You may necessarily not feel that right away. You could feel very matter-of-fact and logical. I need X, Y, and Z. This isn't acceptable. I need the devil in the detail and psychoanalyzing and dissecting and feeling disillusioned. I feel they also are feeling a similar thing, except it's happening in the 3D with karmic situational ships, acknowledging the fact that they're having an emotional situation and it is directly impacting them moving towards. This is a big wake-up call for both divine feminine and masculine. And I feel whatever these circumstances are, both parties are really focusing on their inner power, but also how to get this union on the go. And I think it almost feels urgent. It feels it's pending. It feels very urgent. I'll have a quick hello and then we will leave that for tonight. If you do want a personal booking, you can go to the link below. Yes, we have a very tight ship on the schedule chain. However, we do also have the YouTube membership where any blockages, any ascension processes, etc. I think we talk about everything in there. We do cover. So how have we all been doing? How have you been, Ange, with the Virgo moon? Are you ready for the Pisces moon? How is TF handling Pluto moving out of Capricorn? Still dealing with unfinished situations, which is a huge possibility, especially with theirs. Morning, Leonix. How are you, my love? So, how are all the Leos doing with the shadow sign of Pluto at the moment? Big changes happening in your love zone. You know, I don't know how I'd feel about it. That's a long time to have Pluto in that zone. I mean, I did not like Pluto in the 4th house. Did it help me? 100%. It helped me with my inner child. It helped me with my childhood trauma. It helped me look at children and family and connections and physical homes in so many different ways. So it's not that it doesn't benefit us. It's so challenging with the hard aspects anyway. Generally, the first 5 years in, the first 5 years out, it's transformative. But I had transformations from 2008, really. Everything you said is right on. She is losing her shit. We are good, though. Yeah, it's personal because it's the first house. It's real, like so many situations for me. In my own personal life, you know, it has been really emotional. And I think something that I was saying psychically was I just kept saying to myself, hi, Jan, it's like, especially because feminines do tend to go through an ascension process ahead of everyone else, your perspective is going to be different. It's something that's going to aid you when you're dealing with other individuals, including twin, that you know how to handle it because you're going to step back, you're going to allow it to unpack. You may actually get projected upon. The opposite side of the spectrum is, you know, between these two moons, it's quite difficult. You know, it's very critical. We're still dealing with the Pluto energy. It can be very reminiscent. It's almost like we want everything to be back to the way it was before. Her family stuff has been up in her face. Yeah, I had tribal situations and that. Look, that was all the way back from last year. It was, I would say, started piping off around October, November. Not quite over yet. And it probably can resurface towards the end of the year. And a lot of us, both our twins will be experiencing it, or we will be experiencing it. And they're old cycles that we're kind of emotionally trying to come to terms with. Yeah. Very normal. And now it's going to be all to do with money, money, money. Diet, nutrition, money, value, home, material value, like, you know, raising the money and just money, assets, what to keep. She could also have some breakages with like products. So tell her to be careful and tell her whatever is breaking, it means it needs replacing and it's divinely guided. I'm not surprised, Ange. You just got to ease into it next month for that Pisces moon because it's going to be hitting your love zone. I always said I'd only be skinny when I was 6 feet under. Shit. I feel like I have been through hell and back. Health has been, yes, because your Pluto is in the 6th house, moving to the 7th house. So you're doing both at the moment. And the 6th house is an interesting area. You know, it's the patterns and the habits we have. It's things that are hidden. It can be inflammation. So whatever it is, I would literally guarantee whatever old situation you hadn't addressed and you left it, you need to go address it. So say there was something that you got a checkup for, it's like it's still lingering, you need to get it sorted. Enemies also can be linked to the sixth house. But also it can be paranoia of such. Changes in contracts are possible. But from a spiritual point of view, I noticed that J-Lo, which I thought was quite, what is it? She's most recently, I think, is it a musical? J-Lo. And she's a Leo. New album. February 16th. First release under the partnership. This is me now, okay? And so I thought this was very interesting. I saw a mini snippet of it. I don't know whether it was on YouTube or Instagram. So the context of it and the reason I thought it was so interesting is because Pluto hides things. They're the things we're ashamed of. They're the things that we are going to expose. They're the depths of our soul. And for Leos, it's almost like the courage to be disliked. And whenever we're having an experience, those experiences, when we share them, we can definitely see a different side to that individual. So the music, as per se, the fact that we had Pluto ingress into the house of Aquarius, the shadow sign as such is Leo, so we're definitely going to see a lot of changes. We're seeing a lot to do with celebrities at the moment, and especially our vibration towards celebrities is going to change. I think what we're looking for is something that's more raw and organic, not necessarily so polished and cliche, of those things. So we're definitely wanting to look at things from a different perspective. So for J-Lo to be exposing things and, bearing her soul, it's interesting because it's now collectively for Leos hitting their seventh house of relationships. So it can be talking about perspectives of connections and relationships and career. And I haven't watched it, but the intuitive hit, especially from an astrological point of view, is this is going to be a huge transformation. Funny enough, they mentioned it is connected to a new label that she has released this on. Where does it say it? Okay, This Is Me Now is the ninth studio album by the American entertainer Jennifer Lopez. It was released on February the 16th, 2024 via, I cannot pronounce the productions, rights management, making her first release under this partnership. Okay, there you go, seventh house. So very common at the moment for Leos to be transitioning into a different career. If you are potentially unhappy, it could be that you decide that you're venturing into a new direction. The other thing is, it's about being honest with yourselves to do with your career. We had very cookie cutter careers in our old days. We might have even seen our parents where they were sitting in jobs and it could have been for 20 odd years to 40 years. Because we had Uranus and Taurus, our style and how society is, it's about, having things that probably are more Venusian, more spiritually connected, but as we grow, transitioning to another position. And when we do learn a karmic lesson, it's like eating hay at the same location and then going, but this is all I can have. And it's like, well, no, there's another billion jobs out there. And I'm not saying that's how it's going to be forever, but spiritually, you may find you need to become comfortable with transitions, comfortable with knowing when you need to let something go, and comfortable when you need to bear your soul and move in a particular new direction. At the end of it, you will be a guru in that energy. Initially, you can feel like you are walking on eggshells, okay? The floor is lava. Very testing. Love how she showed inner child healing. Yeah, I look, just at the instant glance of it, even if we could directly look at J-Lo and Ben Affleck as twin flame energy, soul connections, because it was a very long soul cycle both individuals had, and it goes to prove, even if we do shred the term twin flame away, What it can show is even if two individuals do move off in a different direction, if it spiritually is meant to be, and we can work on our demons and we can be the better version of ourselves, we can then reunite and still love the whole pocket, the family, the tribe as that one unit if possible. So yes, you can reconcile. But it was nice to see an individual speaking organically to do with their perspectives. What else have we seen? Leo also can relate to kings and queens. We saw health-related subjects to do with kings and queens. And we also will, again, relate more so to kings and queens. We may be almost requiring them to expose things, and there can be a bit more exposure happening, shared with the people, because, again, it is the 7th house. Shared with the people to do with relationships, connections, health, truth, justice, fairness. And these can be key things that they're really tapping into. And I thought it was interesting. I look at Kate's chart, and her chart, especially with her numerology, she has a similar placement to me. A similar placement, actually, ironically, to Donald Trump. And both of those being a vibration 3. It's almost very North Node and Scorpio energy. It's like there is a process that individual, and many times people judge because they wear similar clothes over and over again. But again, it's part of the birth chart and it's part of her aspects. So it's right up there. Any questions while we're here before I go and have a cuppa? Pacify. So, any other zodiacs in the house? Jan, Libra, you're ready? Are we holding on our hats, girl? Between now, and we had a candid chat, didn't we, during the month, and it was to do with career, love, where we see things going, the year of the dragon. Hopefully we can do some podcasts together soon. I think the other day we were having the chats and literally we were saying how the feed was actually, you've lost 10 BLs. Jeez, girl. Go, girl. Chris, what zodiac are you, sweet? I'm not getting any younger either. Yeah, well, I thought I'd do something different. Hi, Char. How you doing, sweet? Now, also what I will ask of you guys is to vote on when you would like the lives to be. Also with the videos, it's like when we're releasing the masculine, feminine, and karmic, what time zone, just state what area you're in after the video is finished. Go back and comment on this video, which will, A, it'll help the algorithm, but B, it will give me some context. Because I was really sitting back, and like I said, in the old days, I used to come live at around 10 o'clock, 10, 11. So it really didn't matter where you were in the world. 90% of you would have been awake. It does affect the algorithm if I'm actually launching those videos at time frames where nobody's awake to view. So if you do actually tell me what area you're in, what country, and what time that you tend to watch, it will give me a heads up what time to post, and I can do that rough guide and we can get those videos up and posted. So how are you handling the energy chart? Chart, from a Gemini point of view, have you been cleaning or have you been very nonchalant? What about you, Angela? Have you been cleaning? Have you been in the OCD zone? I just mentioned at the beginning of the video that I loved living with my sister because she was so clean. It was ridiculous. Or have you just been no? Your emotions and frustrations might have been heightened for those of you that are Virgo. You could have felt that pressure. I know my daughter said to me she felt quite overstimulated was her term, and she's an Aquarian. She felt overstimulated. She's like, it's just too much. You just did a cacao ceremony. Ooh. I don't know what that is. Call me ignorant. Feel free to share. How you doing, Cosmic Journey? We're all experts on patience. I'm right here, lady. I love the comment that you made. I've got to use reverse psychology on the camera. That's about bloody right. Yes, we have been fixing her house, feel that things need to get done, and sort of have you felt like Penny Little, the sky's falling down? I literally have not sat down all weekend, and when I did, I fell asleep. And then, Twin was like, "Are you going to come out for a smoke?" And I was like, "I just bloody fell asleep off." And I have felt sick all Sunday. He's been sick. I've been sick. I've had to have antihistamine. So it's holding between painkillers and antihistamine. It's holding at this point, but it'll probably come back like a vengeance tomorrow. Actually feeling very productive. I'm telling you, we're just going to be careful not to go down the rabbit hole and focusing on things. Yeah. I think it really depends. Sometimes we can say, hey, I'm a Gemini, but what's your rising? Where's your energy at in your chart? And I think that can really dictate more so how you're going to relate to it, especially as we're older. I've been observant in the crazy ways and feeling a new. Yeah, it is. It's been unique. Let's see where the moon's going to be tomorrow. Now, number one, I'm already at the 25th. So wherever you are in the world, you could be slightly behind. You could be heading towards that the next morning, wherever you are in the world. Okay, the moon currently, how many degrees is it? 17. So on the 25th, it says 17 degrees. That makes so much sense. Okay, the organs it directly connects to. Okay, pancreas, small intestine, colon, digestive, rectum, organs, eyes and ears. They're more sensitive during that time, and it's also higher heart chakra. Okay, so let's go to the 24th. We had it at, didn't show the degree point. Oh, gosh. Okay, we've got another day of it. We've got till the 26th and the moon will be transitioning through. And at 2:30, it will be moving and ingressing into the house of Libra. And pay attention to that area because it'll be about from, I would say, midday, you'll probably feel it from the 26th through to the 28th. You're going to get land of this pending eclipse coming next month. So pay attention to some subjects that come up for you and wherever Libra lands in your chart. As we move to the 29th, it's deep. Okay, we're going to have the moon transitioning into Scorpio. Definitely check use by dates of foods around that time, especially because we're coming off the back end of the moon in Virgo. Use by dates of foods, making sure you're ingesting things that are healthy, stored at the correct temperature because we do have health subjects that come up with Virgo. Bookkeeping, what else? Heart chakra. Now, Scorpio. Ooh. Pisces. Twin has felt like crap, is Aquarius. Yeah, it will shift. It's an adjustment. The frustration and the agitation can be there. My daughter's got Aquarius in her chart, and she goes from super ascension of feeling so embodied and empowered and really assertive to I give no toots. And, Aquarius's in karmic relationships actually can usher in a bit of a tower moment because of where Pluto is at the moment. The shadow sign is Leo. Really moving into this month, there is a possibility of deep frustration and transitions out of those situations. They're really liberating themselves, and it's happening quite aggressively. Pisces, you guys do need to be prepared. We are going to have a moon in Pisces next month. You also can feel the pressure, your bones, your teeth. You actually can have success this year. You also will find that how can I put it? if you put your energy into things, don't burn out, number one. And Saturn's going to aid you with being realistic to build whatever you're wanting to move towards. Slimming coffee. You're a dag. But definitely keep hydrated and be careful of pacifiers near that moon. Between the Virgo moon and the Pisces moon, for those of you that are Pisces or Virgo, you need to be looking after your aura around that time. You also can be super sensitive to psychic attacks. So just, yeah, try and look after yourself around that. Also, if you do comment, I may put a vote up, and that can be to do with energy updates as well as moon energy updates, should I have time. And that way we can have a chat similar to this. We can talk about the astrological aspects, how it's affecting you, and give you mini updates, so to speak, in the interim. So if that's something you'd like, feel free to, after this video is uploaded and I save and I end this stream, to go back to the video and comment in the comment box and tell me what time zone you are, where you are, and I can then adjust the time frames we come live, and separately if you would like those updates. Separately, you also can tell me how this video lands and give others an update, how it relates, so that they can know whether to watch it.